Hey there, Tolkien fans. This is Wesatron. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Bridge Direct's The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey Legolas Greenleaf 6-inch action figure. These just started hitting stores about a week ago. I think October 1st was the actual street date. And I've been hitting Toys R Us like crazy trying to find these because I'm desperate to find a Thorin. So far, I've come up with nothing. A lot of TRUs seem to be confused about what is even supposed to be on the shelves right now. So this guy and Tauriel popped up on Amazon, so I snatched him up as quick as I could. I did pay $16.99 for this guy, which is a little more than retail. Retail should be about $15, but I did get 2 days shipping on him, so not a big deal for me. The packaging on this guy is pretty outstanding, I gotta say. I love this classic kind of curved square card back that they're using here. And also, I gotta say, as weird as it sounds, it's kind of refreshing to have an action figure box that isn't taped all over the back. I'm so used to seeing tape and having to cut all these parts off, and the Bridge Direct decided not to do that. They've got this just, you know, the old style sealed with heat on the front, and then there's a little bit of that on the back on the very bottom, but not much. The back of the card is great. There's a bio here for the movie, I guess a summary of the movie or a teaser of the movie, and then below that it's got a great deal of information about Legolas himself, which I think is really cool. They've got a picture of the action figure, as you should expect, a picture of the actor, and then cross-sells for the other 6-inch figures. As far as I'm concerned, this is everything you should want out of your toy packaging. You've got a bio that tells you something about the character. You've got cross-sells for the other figures. Great artwork. This is great. I love it. Let's get him out of the package and see what he's made of. And here we've got Legolas out of package. I don't have him in a very dynamic pose because, as you can see, he's got a one-piece rubber overlay that goes over top of his whole body here. And unfortunately, they did not put any slits anywhere in here, especially on the back where it would have been really easily done, so that you would be able to spread his legs out. So not only is he hindered in that way, but I can't even tell what kind of articulation he's got under here. So that is a bit of a bummer. But as far as the figure's look itself, fantastic. I really, really like the new costume design. The sculpting is really well done. Get out one of his swords here real quick. One of his daggers. Got it. You're going to fall, aren't you, Orlando? Oh, he's going to do it. Okay. Just a quick look at one of his swords. It does have a slightly updated style, it looks like. It's got some designs on the blade. I could be wrong, but I don't remember those on the old movie. So that's pretty cool looking. There's even tiny designs on the grip itself, which is very cool. Kind of like almost a bone-looking handle or something. Very nice. Same with both daggers, of course. His quiver here is removable. So and also all the arrows, I know some people have had trouble with it, but all the arrows do come out. You just got to give them a good tug. I would recommend grabbing them all at once and pulling, as opposed to trying to get them out one at a time, because these are pretty rigid plastic, so they could break. So just be careful when you're pulling them out for the first time. Now his quiver is actually kind of like the old ones, where it's part sheath and part quiver at the same time. So it's got all these great, beautiful designs on here, all painted in gold, very nice looking, very classic elf looking. I guess Mirkwood for him, right? So this looks fantastic. The swords can store in the sheath, just like so, and as you saw, that just works on like a peg and hole system. Now the swords, there are, if you can see here, like two angular gold parts that look like they should be where the swords kind of stuff into, like sheaths, but they don't really like stick in there. I've got them pushed down a little bit. Well, now it's kind of holding a little bit. Well, no. But I haven't been able to really get them to stick really well. So I think more than anything, you're kind of just going to be sticking these in the sheath and just letting them do their thing. They don't have individual sheaths like they used to on the Toy Biz version. So, but still, one thing I think that is neat, there is a hole in the bottom here And that might just be random, but I did find that the bow actually fits through there. If I can line it up just right. The bow fits through there, so if you want, you can wear his bow on his back with his arrows if you want to pose him with his swords instead, which I think is pretty cool. That's a nice touch. And like I said, it may not be intentional, but it is neat that you can do it. There's no instructions with this figure like came with the old Toy Biz figure, so I can't be positive, but you know, that's at least what I'm getting from it. Let me slide these over for a second, and we'll take a good look at the face sculpt here. You see, that's a pretty good likeness of Orlando Bloom. I think he might be a little chubby in the face, just a little bit. His head seems a bit wide, maybe not quite long enough. But that might just be me being so used to the old Toy Biz version. Which, let me grab him real quick. And you see the older figure, I think, also looks quite a bit like Orlando Bloom, but maybe his head is a little too skinny. Either way, they both look pretty fantastic. Excuse me. His hair is much blonder than they ever decided to do with the Toy Biz version. They always kind of, at least on my figures, always had kind of a dark wash that made it look very brown. So I'm glad that they went for a more pure blonde on this one. Just sit him right there. And just so you guys can see, because there's been a lot of question about scale, here he is next to the Aragorn from the old series, and he is just a hair shorter than Aragorn. So you might be able to fudge him into your old series. That's up to you. It's probably not perfect, but it's doable. Now, one real quick thing about the bow as well, while I'm thinking about it, is you'll see the bow only comes up to about his waist. And realistically, unless it's a horse bow, it should probably be a lot longer. A long bow should probably be closer to his shoulder or even a little higher, all the way to the ground. So, you know, that's a kind of a nitpicky complaint, but you know, it's something that people are going to want to know about. So I figured to let you know. And it's got a nice tight fit in his hand, so that he does have individual fingers sculpted over here, so you might be able to fudge an arrow in there, but he doesn't have double jointed elbows, so a true archer's position is going to be difficult to get. So speaking of articulation, he does have a ball jointed head. It goes down pretty far. Back, not so much. Left and right is a little difficult because of the hair. The hair is very stiff plastic. It's very, very stiff. So you're not going to get a whole lot of side to side or anything like that out of it. I hope that they decide to kind of mess with this a little bit later. This looks like it might be a separate piece here. So if they do further releases, updated costumes or anything like that, I hope they decide to go with a softer plastic so you can get that in there. You see the designs on the costume are really, really nice. They did kind of like this real faux leather look, some kind of leaf and mail almost. Very, very nice looking stuff. All painted with these great washes, and the gold has this great, it's not an inlay, it's just painted on there, but it's really, really nice. It's a really reflective gold, so it looks great. They continue the wash on down to the skirts, which again kind of have this like leafy quality, which really fits in with Mirkwood, you know, being wood elves. Very, very cool stuff. And you can see there's some mail underneath there. Very, very cool. As I mentioned, you can't really see too much up underneath there, but no peg holes. That's good to know. Leather boots. They did sculpt the buttons on there. Very, very cool. And then the painted gold detail work. Very nice. Great shoes. All in all, looks great. Yeah, sorry. Articulation. Swivel hinge shoulders. Very nice range. Go straight out. Maybe a little higher if he didn't have the shoulder pauldrons, but, or at least where the mail slips over, but still good. Hinged elbows go about 90 degrees and swivel. And then he's got swivel wrists. Like I said, I do not know. It kind of feels like he might have a waist joint under there, but I'm not positive, and I'm afraid I'm going to break this figure. Some kind of ball jointed hips, but I don't know what they are. Swivel hinge knees, again, kind of hindered a little bit by the design. So that's a little unfortunate, but they do swivel around and hinge, and swivel hinge feet as well. So oh, about that far down and that far up. Not very far up at all, really. This isn't the softest plastic in the world. So hopefully they're still kind of finding their bearings with that sort of thing. I know Toy Biz, it took them a few waves to really get into what they would consider right and wrong with their action figures. But on the whole, I really like this guy. $15 I think is a very fair price for a figure that's this well painted and articulated. I have seen some people when the 4-inch ones cutting up the skirt like vertically, like making these individual kind of flaps. And I think I might do that just so that I can get some better range out of his legs. Which is a little silly because all my figures just stand straight up anyway, but I just like to have the articulation, the ability to articulate, so I might do that myself. If I do, I'll probably post a video and let you guys see how I did it and what it looks like. So this is Legolas Greenleaf from the Hobbit toy line, made by The Bridge Direct. Pretty solid figure. $15 is a good price, especially for all these accessories. I mean, you get so much stuff with this guy, and it's all character appropriate stuff. I don't feel like, even without having seen the movie, I don't feel like there's anything else that Legolas really needs. So very cool stuff. Highly recommended if you spot him in stores. $15. If you have to pay online, I'd say don't pay more than $18 for him, because he's not quite perfect. He still needs some work. But yeah, good figure. Highly recommend it if you do get the chance to find him. Make sure you check out InfiniteHollywood.com for the 31 Days of Halloween. Newt's got some good stuff over there. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you later. Peace.